A profile is the settings that will be deployed from the mobile application to the device. You can choose from up to 4 alarms. You can choose between 3 alarm modes, being instant, cumulative, or continuous. Once selected, you can choose between an ascending or descending threshold. Instant alarms trigger as soon as the alarm temperature is breached. For example, an alarm set to instant above 10°C would trigger as soon as it saw a temperature reading of 10.1 or above. Cumulative alarms are set with accompanied times and will trigger if they breach their alarm temperature for a total of that amount of time. For example, an alarm set to cumulative above 10°C for 10 minutes would not trigger if the temperature was over 10°C for 5 minutes and then lowered to 8°C, but would trigger if an hour later it rose to 10°C for another 5 minutes. Continuous alarms are also set with accompanied times, but will trigger only if they breach their alarm temperatures for a continuous amount of time. For example, an alarm set to above 10°C continuous for 15 minutes wouldn't trigger if the temperature went to 15°C for 5 minutes once an hour, but it would trigger if it went to 10°C for 15 minutes straight. Profiles can also be configured with a variety of other settings that can be found in the details section of the profile creation screen. Start mode can be set to on deploy, which will start immediately after deployment from the app, or in push button mode, which will display a BP on the screen once deployed to, and then start after the button has been pressed once. Setting a soak time allows a preset time after starting a profile for the device to acclimate before reading temperature. It can be set to up to 255 minutes. Units can be set to Celsius or Fahrenheit. Airplane mode can also be enabled, which will turn off Bluetooth broadcasting on the device until the button is pressed. It can be configured with a delay of up to 255 minutes. The log interval is how often the device will be taking a reading in the measurement of minutes. It can go all the way up to 60 minutes. High-speed logging can be enabled on profiles with log intervals larger than 1 minute that also have cumulative or continuous alarms. This allows the device to take extra readings for better visibility when experiencing excursions. User notes can be enabled to allow the user to add a note of up to 25 characters to the device upon deployment. A circular buffer can be enabled to allow the device to run continuously without running out of space by deleting the oldest temperature reading once it's full. Stop button monitoring can be enabled to allow the device to be stopped by holding the button on the device for 6 seconds. Below these options, you will see a max runtime estimate for your profile that will take into account the options that you've chosen, as well as any other applicable warnings. When temperature matters, visit AmericanThermal.com to learn more.